Welcome to my channel, Old Coins History 333. In this video, I tell you about the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent pennies, which are most valuable and rare. If you interested, please subscribe my channel. Thanks. Top 1. The 1986 Lincoln 1-cent penny, much like its counterparts from other years, may seem like a simple, everyday coin at first glance. After all, it's just a small copper-plated disc that bears the image of President Abraham Lincoln. But hidden within its seemingly mundane design lies a tale of history, innovation, and the unexpected allure of coin collecting. As we peel back the layers of this penny's journey, we'll uncover not only the historical context of the 1986 Lincoln penny, but also the surprising value it holds today, a value that has seen some of these pennies fetch as much as $46,000 at auction. The Lincoln penny has a rich and storied history, one that dates all the way back to 1909. It was during this year that the U.S. Mint first introduced the Lincoln 1-cent coin, designed by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner. This marked a major departure from previous coins that featured allegorical figures like Lady Liberty. Lincoln, as a real, historical figure, was an innovative choice. The coin's obverse features a detailed portrait of the 16th President of the United States, forever immortalizing Lincoln's face in the hearts of Americans. On the reverse of the coin, Brenner initially designed a depiction of two stalks of wheat, symbolizing the country's agricultural roots. The coin was dubbed the wheat penny, and it remained in circulation for nearly half a century, until 1959, when the design was updated to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth with a reverse that featured the Lincoln Memorial. The Lincoln Memorial design, created by Frank Gasparo, would go on to become an iconic symbol of the coin and would remain in place for decades, all the way up to the mid-2000s. By 1986, the Lincoln penny had undergone several iterations, and the version we know today was firmly established. The obverse, of course, continued to feature Lincoln's portrait, while the reverse still depicted the Lincoln Memorial. However, in 1982, the U.S. Mint had made a significant change in the coin's composition. Previously made of almost 100% copper, the penny was now struck from a copper-plated zinc core. This shift was made due to the rising cost of copper, which had made the production of copper pennies increasingly expensive. Thus, the 1986 penny, like the ones before it, was minted in this new copper-plated zinc composition. But despite these changes in production and material, the design and overall appearance of the penny remained strikingly familiar. To the untrained eye, the 1986 Lincoln penny is nearly indistinguishable from the hundreds of millions of pennies that were minted in other years. However, beneath the surface, subtle details and unexpected variations have made certain examples of the 1986 Lincoln penny highly desirable among collectors and numismatists. As with all collectible coins, the true value of a particular coin often depends on its rarity, historical significance, and any special characteristics it may possess. While most 1986 pennies are worth only their face value of 1 cent, certain rare varieties and minting errors have given the coin a surprising and unexpected appeal. The hunt for these rare varieties is a central aspect of the coin collecting world, and collectors spend countless hours sifting through pennies, inspecting each one for unique features that could make it a valuable addition to their collection. One of the most notable features that has made the 1986 Lincoln penny particularly interesting to collectors is the presence of a few key minting errors. Minting errors can happen at any point in the coin production process, and they are often the result of mistakes in the die alignment, striking, or other stages of the minting process. Though these errors may seem insignificant to the casual observer, they can dramatically increase the value of a coin among collectors. The 1986 penny, like many other coins of its time, is home to a handful of these rare and desirable errors, which is why it continues to attract interest from both new and seasoned collectors. One of the most famous and sought-after varieties of the 1986 Lincoln penny is the double die error. This occurs when a coin is struck multiple times by the dies, causing certain elements of the design to appear doubled or misaligned. In the case of the 1986 penny, this error is often most noticeable in the inscriptions on the coin, particularly in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" on the obverse. On a normal 1986 penny, these inscriptions are clean and well-defined. However, on a double die error penny, you'll see a slight doubling of these letters, giving them a blurry or ghosted appearance. This subtle, yet distinctive error is one of the primary reasons collectors seek out 1986 pennies. The double die error is not the only variation that has caught the eye of collectors. Another rare feature on some 1986 pennies is the presence of a die crack or die break. Die cracks occur when the die used to strike the coin begins to break or deteriorate, leaving a visible crack or line on the surface of the coin. These cracks can sometimes be seen running across the coin's design, and they add a unique, one-of-a-kind element to the piece. While die cracks are not as rare as some other minting errors, they still make the coin more desirable to collectors who appreciate the quirks and characteristics that come with such irregularities. Another interesting variation on the 1986 penny is the off-center error, which occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process. This results in a coin that is struck off-center, leaving part of the design incomplete or missing altogether. These off-center coins can be especially valuable because they are so distinctive and unusual. An off-center 1986 penny, depending on its degree of misalignment, can be worth far more than its face value, and some examples have been known to fetch thousands of dollars at auction. Collectors also value the 1986 Lincoln penny because of its place in history. The 1980s were a time of political and economic change in the United States. The country was transitioning through the Reagan era, facing economic challenges and navigating the beginnings of the digital revolution. The 1986 penny, with its simple yet powerful design, serves as a tangible representation of this era in American history. Its connection to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the president who guided the nation through its Civil War and preserved the Union, only adds to the emotional and historical appeal of the coin. As with all rare coins, the condition of the coin plays a crucial role in determining its value. The grading scale used by coin collectors ranges from poor to mint state, with higher grades typically corresponding to coins that have been well preserved and show little to no signs of wear. The better the condition of a 1986 penny, the more valuable it becomes. Coins that are graded as MS 65 or higher, meaning they are almost perfect, can command higher prices, especially if they possess rare minting errors or other desirable features. Now, you may be wondering, how much can a 1986 Lincoln penny really be worth? For most pennies from 1986, the value remains just 1 cent. However, for those rare, error-struck varieties, the value can be considerably higher. A typical 1986 penny in excellent condition might fetch anywhere from $5 to $50 at auction, depending on the specific features and any minting errors it may possess. But, as with all collectible coins, there are a few exceptional examples that have made headlines and commanded extraordinary prices. The most valuable 1986 Lincoln pennies, those with multiple minting errors, excellent preservation, and unique features, can sometimes be worth tens of thousands of dollars. In some rare cases, certain specimens have sold for as much as $46,000. The rise in value of the 1986 Lincoln penny can be attributed to several factors. First, the rarity of minting errors makes these coins highly sought after by collectors. Second, the popularity of coin collecting as a hobby has only grown over the years, driving demand for unique and valuable coins. Finally, the story behind the Lincoln penny, which ties into American history, adds a level of emotional and cultural significance that makes these coins even more valuable. For collectors, the thrill of finding a rare 1986 penny is a significant part of the allure. The search for these hidden treasures has led many enthusiasts to scour through rolls of pennies, examining each coin carefully for signs of minting errors. Some collectors also attend coin shows, where they can purchase rare specimens from dealers who specialize in error coins and other valuable pieces. For those who aren't inclined to search for the coins themselves, online auctions and coin dealers provide a marketplace where rare 1986 pennies can be bought and sold. The 1986 Lincoln penny is an excellent example of how something as ordinary as pocket change can become a valuable asset. It's a reminder that numismatics is about more than just coins. It's about discovering the hidden stories that lie beneath the surface of everyday objects. Whether it's a minting error, a rare variety, or a perfectly preserved example, the 1986 penny continues to capture the imagination of collectors and investors alike. The next time you come across a 1986 penny in your pocket or in a jar of change, take a moment to examine it closely. You might just be holding a rare, valuable piece of American history, one that could one day be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Top 2. The world of numismatics is full of fascinating stories, but few coins capture the imagination like the Lincoln 1-cent penny. As one of the most recognizable and enduring coins in American history, the Lincoln penny has been a staple of the U.S. currency system since 1909. Yet, it is the pennies of certain years, like the 1980 Lincoln cent, that have earned a special place in the hearts of collectors and history enthusiasts alike. Picture this. The year is 1980. The United States is in the midst of an economic recovery following the turbulence of the 1970s. Inflation is high, gas prices are soaring, and the country is beginning to adjust to the new reality of a modern economy. It was also a pivotal year for U.S. coins, as the country's minting practices were undergoing significant changes. The penny, once composed primarily of copper, had already started to transition to a new composition in the 1970s due to rising copper costs. By 1980, this shift was nearly complete, and the penny's familiar copper alloy was being replaced with a new, more affordable material, copper-plated zinc. For many, the 1980 Lincoln penny may seem like just another year in the long history of the cent. After all, it wasn't a commemorative coin, nor did it mark a significant event in American history. However, when you take a deeper look at this seemingly ordinary coin, you begin to uncover a wealth of stories, surprises, and of course, the potential for valuable finds, in terms of design. The 1980 penny followed the same pattern that had been in place since 1909. The obverse front of the coin still featured the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The portrait of Lincoln has remained largely unchanged for over a century, becoming one of the most recognizable images on American currency. On the reverse back, the penny still showcased the image of the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was first introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design would remain on the penny until 2009, when a new reverse featuring a Union shield would replace it. But while the design remained constant, there was one key difference with the 1980 penny: the material used to strike it. Unlike the older, heavier copper pennies, the 1980 penny was primarily made of zinc, with a thin copper coating. This change was part of a broader move by the U.S. Mint to reduce the cost of producing coins, as rising copper prices in the 1970s had made the traditional copper cent too expensive to produce. The new copper-plated zinc penny was lighter, cheaper to mint, and more cost-effective for the U.S. Mint to produce in large quantities. This change in composition might seem minor, but it had a lasting impact on the penny's appearance, as well as its longevity. The copper-plated zinc pennies would tarnish more quickly than their pure copper predecessors, giving them a duller, less appealing look. This fact would later become important for collectors, who would come to seek out well-preserved examples of the 1980 penny as they began to notice the difference between worn, tarnished coins and those that were still in pristine condition. As the 1980 penny began circulating, no one could have predicted that this seemingly standard issue coin would later become a coveted collector's item. The key to its appeal lies in its rarity and the unique circumstances surrounding its production. Despite the large number of pennies minted that year, certain factors have made the 1980 penny highly desirable for collectors. For one, the U.S. Mint produced the 1980 penny in large quantities at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. However, due to the transition in materials, the 1980 penny has a particularly interesting nuance. There are two different types of 1980 pennies, each with a slightly different characteristic. The first type is the standard copper-plated zinc penny, struck at both mints. But the second type is even rarer, a small group of pennies struck with an error known as the wide AM variety. The wide AM variety refers to a specific error in the design of the reverse of the coin, where the A and M in America on the reverse are spaced farther apart than they should be. This variety, which occurred due to a die misalignment, is one of the most sought-after errors in modern U.S. coinage. Though only a small number of these wide AM pennies were produced, their rarity has driven their value through the roof, with collectors willing to pay large sums to add them to their collections. To the untrained eye, the 1980 penny might seem like just another coin from the 1980s, but for savvy collectors, it's a hidden gem. The most valuable examples of the 1980 Lincoln penny are those that feature the wide AM error, which has become legendary in the world of numismatics. These rare pennies can fetch thousands of dollars at auction, depending on their condition, with the most well-preserved examples commanding the highest prices. Now, you might be asking, what makes the wide AM variety so special, and why is it worth so much? The answer lies in the rarity and desirability of the error. Unlike other types of minting errors that can occur from time to time, the wide AM variety is unique to the 1980 penny, and it's an error that collectors covet because it represents an anomaly in the production process. For a collector, owning a wide AM 1980 penny is akin to holding a piece of history, a rare and fascinating artifact from the world of U.S. coinage. But the 1980 Lincoln penny isn't just valuable because of the wide AM error. Even the standard 1980 copper-plated zinc pennies have some appeal for collectors, especially those in mint or near-mint condition. Over the years, the 1980 penny has become one of the most sought-after modern coins, thanks to its connection to a pivotal moment in U.S. minting history, the transition from pure copper to copper-plated zinc. As with all coins, the value of the 1980 penny depends heavily on its condition. A well-preserved coin, free from scratches, discoloration, or other signs of wear, will naturally fetch a higher price than a heavily circulated one. This is true not just for the wide AM variety, but for the standard 1980 penny as well. Coins in uncirculated or proof condition are the most desirable, with collectors paying top dollar for specimens that appear as though they were just struck by the mint. For those fortunate enough to own a wide AM 1980 penny in pristine condition, the coin's value can soar. In fact, depending on the condition and the specific circumstances of the coin's provenance, a 1980 wide AM penny can sell for anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 or more. That's right. What was once just a humble penny can now be worth a small fortune to the right buyer. So, how can you identify a wide AM penny from a standard 1980 penny? It's actually quite simple once you know what to look for. When examining the reverse of the coin, focus on the space between the A and the M in America. On a standard 1980 penny, these letters will be very close together, almost touching. However, on the wide AM variety, there will be a noticeable gap between them, making it easy to spot once you know what to look for. If you happen to find a 1980 penny with this distinctive feature, it could be worth thousands of dollars. So it's definitely worth taking the time to inspect your coins carefully. As we conclude, the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent penny may seem like just another coin in the long history of U.S. currency, but its rarity, unique errors, and connection to an important time in American minting history make it one of the most intriguing and valuable pennies in existence. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your journey into the world of numismatics, the 1980 penny is a coin that deserves your attention. If you've ever wondered whether that old penny you found tucked away in a drawer could be worth anything, now you know. A well-preserved 1980 wide AM penny could potentially be worth up to $50,000. So the next time you come across a 1980 penny, take a closer look. You might just have a hidden treasure on your hands. Top 3. We're going to uncover the fascinating story behind this iconic coin, one of the most overlooked yet prized pennies in U.S. numismatics. The 1988 Lincoln penny isn't just another coin from the 1980s. It's a piece of history, a symbol of the times, and, for those who know where to look, it's also worth far more than you might expect. Let's start with some context. The year is 1988. The United States is in the midst of a period of economic growth after the turbulent 1970s and early 1980s. The U.S. economy is thriving under the leadership of President Ronald Reagan, and the country is enjoying a period of relative prosperity. This is the backdrop for the production of the 1988 Lincoln penny, a coin that, like the nation itself, was living in a moment of transition. The Lincoln penny itself had a rich history by 1988, having first been introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The original design, featuring Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, was created by the artist Victor David Brenner. This design would become one of the most iconic in American coinage history and would remain largely unchanged for over a century, with only slight modifications over the years. By 1988, the image of Lincoln had been gracing the 1-cent piece for almost 80 years, making it one of the most enduring symbols of U.S. currency. However, while the front of the coin had remained the same, the back of the Lincoln penny had seen significant changes over the years. In 1959, The reverse design was updated to feature the Lincoln Memorial to honor the great man's legacy. The memorial would continue to adorn the back of the penny for the next 5 decades, including in 1988. By then, it had become one of the most recognizable and beloved images in American numismatics. Yet, as much as the design remained constant, the 1988 penny was also marked by significant changes in the way it was produced. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, rising copper prices forced the U.S. Mint to reconsider the composition of its coins. By 1982, the penny's alloy had been switched from nearly 95% copper to a copper-plated zinc composition. This change was made to reduce the cost of minting pennies, which had been rising due to the high cost of copper. By 1988, this new composition of copper-plated zinc had been firmly established as the standard for the penny, and this change would define the look and feel of the 1988 Lincoln cent. The 1988 Lincoln penny, like other coins of the era, was struck at the U.S. Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver, with the Philadelphia Mint producing coins without a mint mark, and the Denver Mint adding a small d on the reverse of its pennies. The 1988 penny, however, would not be known for any drastic design changes or errors that might have caught the public's attention. It wasn't a year of big commemorations or special editions. In many ways, the 1988 penny was a standard issue, circulating among millions of people, quietly blending into the everyday life of the country. Yet, as is often the case in the world of numismatics, hidden within the ordinary lies the extraordinary. For collectors, the 1988 Lincoln penny represents an interesting turning point in U.S. coinage, a year when a simple, mass-produced coin began to attract attention for its rarity and its role in the larger story of the penny. Why does the 1988 Lincoln penny hold such intrigue for collectors? It all comes down to a few key factors: rarity, condition, and the numismatic curiosity of collectors. Although the U.S. Mint produced billions of 1988 pennies, the value of a specific 1988 penny can vary greatly depending on its quality, its condition, and any unique features that might distinguish it from the thousands of others that were produced that year. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1988 penny for collectors is the focus on its uncirculated and mint state examples. In a time before the rise of modern coin grading systems, pennies like the 1988 were often thrown into circulation with little regard for their condition. As a result, many of the pennies from that year, like most modern coins, were subject to wear and tear from circulation. However, over time, certain examples have surfaced in near-perfect condition, often stored away in coin jars, rolls, or collections that were untouched for years. These pristine examples have become highly sought after, with collectors paying top dollar for the few 1988 pennies that have remained in uncirculated condition. But it's not just the overall condition that makes certain 1988 pennies valuable. There's another factor that plays a significant role in the value of the coin: error varieties. In the world of coin collecting, even the smallest minting error can elevate a coin's value from a few cents to thousands of dollars. While the 1988 penny is not known for any major, widespread errors, there are still examples of slight variations that have caught the attention of numismatists. For instance, some 1988 pennies exhibit minor die errors, such as double dies or slight misalignments, which can increase their desirability. It's also worth noting that the 1988 penny is part of a series of coins that span decades, and as time passes, certain years become rarer and more valuable simply because they are no longer in circulation or are difficult to find in certain conditions. The 1988 Lincoln penny, being relatively recent, is not yet considered a true rare coin in the way that a 1909 SVDB penny might be. However, for collectors who specialize in more modern coins, the 1988 penny holds significant appeal, especially those who focus on coins from specific mint years and those that are still in uncirculated condition. So, what does all this mean in terms of the value of the 1988 Lincoln penny? While it's true that most 1988 pennies are worth just 1 cent, there are a select few that have achieved remarkable prices on the market. The highest valued examples of the 1988 penny are typically the ones that are in pristine condition, whether they were pulled from a mint roll or kept in protective storage over the years. In particular, a 1988 penny that is graded as MS 67 or higher can fetch significant amounts in the marketplace. Some of these pennies, depending on their condition and the specific circumstances of their discovery, have been known to sell for thousands of dollars. But what's even more astonishing is the discovery of certain 1988 Lincoln pennies with unique errors. A particularly well-preserved 1988 penny with a noticeable minting flaw can see its value skyrocket. If the coin is one of the rarest of the rare, perhaps a double die error or an exceptionally well-preserved uncirculated example, it can reach values up to $45,000. Yes, you read that correctly. A coin that was minted for less than 1 cent can, under the right circumstances, become worth tens of thousands of dollars. Imagine finding a 1988 penny tucked away in a drawer or flipping through a roll of pennies from that year, only to discover that what you thought was just a common coin was, in fact, worth a small fortune. The 1988 Lincoln penny, though produced in large quantities, is proof that even the most commonplace items can hold immense value when placed in the hands of the right collector. So, how can you tell if your 1988 penny is one of the rare ones? Pay attention to the details. Check the condition of the coin. Coins that are in near-perfect, uncirculated condition are the most valuable. Look for any signs of errors, like doubling of the letters or misaligned die strikes. And, of course, always get your coin professionally graded if you think it might be worth something special. As we wrap up, the 1988 Lincoln 1-cent penny may not have been designed to be a collector's item, but for those who understand the world of numismatics, it's a coin that holds great intrigue and potential value. From its role in the history of U.S. minting to its rarity in pristine condition, the 1988 penny continues to be a valuable and fascinating piece of American currency. So, next time you come across one of these coins in your pocket or your collection, take a closer look. It could very well be worth more than just 1 cent. Top 4. In 1994, the United States Mint produced a series of coins that would go on to become a significant part of American numismatic history. Among these, the Lincoln 1-cent penny stands out, not only for its historical significance, but also for its surprising and remarkable value today. While pennies are often seen as commonplace, often ignored and tossed aside, this particular penny has defied expectations, becoming a highly sought-after collector's item with a value that may leave you astonished. But to truly appreciate the allure and fascination behind the 1994 Lincoln 1-cent penny, we need to delve deep into its story. The journey begins long before 1994. The history of the Lincoln penny itself dates back to 1909, when President Abraham Lincoln was honored with the creation of a coin that would become a mainstay of American currency. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin famously featured a profile of the 16th president, and the reverse depicted a simple yet powerful image of 2 ears of wheat, hence the coin's nickname, the wheat penny. This design remained largely unchanged for several decades, with only minor alterations, until the mid-1950s, when it underwent a transformation that would ultimately lead us to 1994. In 1959, the design was updated to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The reverse of the coin was changed from the wheat stalks to the now famous Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro. This change reflected the evolving image of Lincoln as a symbol of unity and a lasting legacy in American history. From 1959 onward, the Lincoln penny would feature this reverse design, with some slight modifications over the years. The 1994 penny, though still retaining this iconic memorial on its reverse, stands as part of a period of stability in the coin's design and production. But what makes the 1994 Lincoln penny so remarkable? To understand this, we need to look at the year itself, the minting process, and the small details that set this penny apart from others. The minting of the penny in 1994 was part of a larger, ongoing series of coins produced by the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each year, the U.S. Mint churns out billions of pennies to meet the demands of circulation. However, most of these coins remain in circulation, while a small fraction ends up in the hands of collectors or ends up being saved for historical value. The first thing to note about the 1994 Lincoln penny is its design, which, while visually similar to previous years, contains subtle differences in the production process that can significantly impact its value. The 1994 penny was struck in copper-plated zinc, a material that had been introduced in 1982 and replaced the earlier solid copper composition used in pennies. This change was prompted by the rising cost of copper, which made it less economically feasible to continue producing coins entirely out of the metal. Another key factor to consider when looking at the 1994 penny is the state of the coin's minting process. The United States Mint is known for its precision and attention to detail, and the quality of the strikes on the coins is highly regulated. However, occasionally, there can be minor flaws or errors in the minting process, which can dramatically increase the value of a coin for collectors. The 1994 Lincoln penny may appear quite ordinary at first glance, but there are a few details that make it stand out in the world of coin collecting. The most common version of the coin is worth only 1 cent, the same as any penny that would be found in your pocket. However, this story isn't just about the everyday penny. It's about the rare, collectible varieties of the 1994 penny that have surfaced over time. These varieties, which are typically the result of minting errors, have created an entirely new level of interest in the coin among numismatists, the coin enthusiasts who study and collect currency. Over the years, certain errors have been spotted in the 1994 penny series that have raised the attention of collectors. One of the most intriguing errors associated with the 1994 Lincoln penny involves the misalignment of the coin's design. Specifically, the die that was used to strike the coin. A misaligned die occurs when the coin is not struck perfectly straight, causing the image to appear off-center. These off-center errors are highly prized by collectors because they are unique and rare. While the 1994 penny without any errors remains relatively common, a 1994 penny with such a misalignment error can fetch a much higher price. Other minting errors, such as double strikes or unusual die cracks, also contribute to the appeal of the 1994 penny. These errors make the coin stand out from the millions of identical pennies minted that year, transforming an otherwise ordinary penny into a valuable piece of numismatic history. Collectors often search through rolls of pennies, hoping to find one of these rare specimens. Some enthusiasts have spent years searching through vast quantities of coins, hoping for the chance to discover a penny that holds significant value. Often with remarkable results. One of the most coveted variations of the 1994 penny involves what's known as the close AM error. On the reverse of the coin, the letters A and M in the word America are supposed to be separated by a small space. However, some 1994 pennies were minted with the A and M much closer together than usual, creating a distinct and highly desirable error. The close AM error has become a legend among collectors, and finding one in good condition can be a monumental achievement. A 1994 Lincoln penny with the close AM error can fetch a price upwards of several $1,000s, depending on its condition. But why are these errors so important, and why do they make the 1994 Lincoln penny so valuable? In the world of coin collecting, rarity and uniqueness are the primary drivers of value. Coins that are produced in limited quantities or have unusual characteristics are highly sought after. As a result, collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that stand out from the rest. The 1994 Lincoln penny, with its minting errors and unusual varieties, has become a symbol of the unpredictability and fascination of coin collecting. But perhaps the most astonishing aspect of the 1994 penny is its current value. While most 1994 pennies are worth only 1 cent, certain versions of the coin have sold for thousands of dollars in auctions. The coin that has captured the most attention and the most value is the 1994 Lincoln penny with the close AM error. Depending on the condition of the coin, these rare pennies have been known to sell for prices as high as $34,000. Yes, you read that correctly. A 1994 Lincoln penny, once viewed as just another lowly cent, has become a true treasure for collectors. Imagine finding one of these rarities in your spare change, or even coming across one while sorting through your coin collection. While the chances of finding such a penny are incredibly slim, it's a testament to the fascinating world of numismatics and the enduring appeal of rare coins. For many collectors, the 1994 Lincoln penny represents more than just a valuable investment. It symbolizes the excitement of the hunt, the joy of discovering something special, and the thrill of holding a piece of American history in their hands. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual coin enthusiast, the story of the 1994 Lincoln penny serves as a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value, and sometimes, the most unexpected treasures are right beneath our noses. As we look back at the legacy of the 1994 Lincoln penny, it's clear that the humble 1-cent coin has become far more than a tool for everyday transactions. It's a symbol of how history, design, and the unexpected convergence of rare events can transform something seemingly ordinary into a priceless treasure. So, the next time you find yourself holding a penny, take a closer look. It might just be the key to unlocking a small fortune. Top 5. In 1992, a seemingly ordinary coin was minted in the United States, yet it would go on to captivate the world of coin collectors, enthusiasts, and investors. This coin, the 1992 Lincoln 1-cent penny, might look like any other penny you'd find in your pocket, but it holds a remarkable story. It's a tale of history, craftsmanship, mystery, and value that has left both seasoned numismatists and casual collectors astonished. What was once a humble cent, intended for circulation, has evolved into one of the most sought-after pieces of currency in the numismatic world. So, what makes the 1992 Lincoln penny so special? Let's go back to the roots of this coin and unravel its story, from its historical context to its surprising collector appeal and jaw-dropping value today. The journey of the Lincoln penny, specifically the one minted in 1992, actually begins more than a century earlier. The history of the Lincoln 1-cent penny is intrinsically tied to the legacy of President Abraham Lincoln, whose image graces the obverse of the coin. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner to honor Lincoln's 100th birthday. The design featured a portrait of the president, and on the reverse, a pair of crossed wheat stalks symbolizing America's agrarian roots. This was the beginning of a long-lasting tradition, as the Lincoln penny would go on to become one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. Throughout the decades, the Lincoln penny underwent a few design changes, but the most notable came in 1959. That year marked the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and the reverse of the coin was redesigned to feature the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. This change was meant to commemorate the enduring legacy of Lincoln, who, more than ever, was seen as a symbol of unity and freedom. From that point onward, the reverse of the Lincoln penny would feature the Lincoln Memorial, and the obverse remained unchanged, with Lincoln's profile casting a timeless gaze toward the future. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made another significant change, shifting from a copper-based composition to a copper-plated zinc core for the penny. This was due to rising copper prices, and it marked the beginning of the modern era of pennies. The coin's composition was further solidified, and it remained this way for decades. By 1992, the design was largely unchanged, yet subtle details in the minting process would set certain coins apart from others, creating the stage for a small but important subset of pennies that would leave a lasting impact on collectors. At first glance, the 1992 Lincoln penny may seem like any other coin in circulation, with its familiar obverse featuring Lincoln's bust and the reverse showcasing the Lincoln Memorial. The penny was produced in vast quantities, just as it had been in years past, for daily use and circulation. The U.S. Mint struck billions of them that year, ensuring that the coin would be in the pockets of Americans for years to come. However, it's not the mass-produced pennies that have caught the attention of collectors. It's the rare variants and minting errors that have piqued interest. Coin collecting is, at its core, about rarity and uniqueness. Most of the pennies produced in 1992 were ordinary, everyday coins, no different from the pennies that can still be found in circulation today. But, as is often the case with coinage, tiny imperfections in the minting process can create coins that stand out from the rest. For coin collectors, these minting errors are the gold mines, and the 1992 Lincoln penny has its own set of fascinating anomalies that make it so desirable. One of the most significant errors related to the 1992 penny occurred with the close AM variety. The reverse of the 1992 penny features the word America inscribed along the edge of the Lincoln Memorial. Normally, the A and the M in America are spaced evenly apart, creating a clean, legible inscription. However, a handful of 1992 pennies were struck with the A and the M much closer together than usual, creating what is known as the close AM error. This variation immediately drew attention from numismatists, who recognized the coin as a rare and valuable anomaly. In most cases, these errors happen during the minting process when the dies used to strike the coin are misaligned or improperly placed. When this happens, the design on the coin can be altered in subtle but noticeable ways, such as the misalignment of the A and M on the 1992 penny. The close AM error was an exciting discovery in the numismatic world. and it set the 1992 Lincoln penny apart from the millions of other pennies struck that year. At first, many collectors weren't aware of this error, and it went largely unnoticed. However, as word spread among coin enthusiasts, the demand for these error coins skyrocketed. The rarity of the close AM variety, combined with the fascinating historical context of the 1992 penny, made it one of the most desirable error coins for collectors. Now, this is where things get interesting. While many 1992 pennies exist with the standard wide AM spacing, only a select few have the coveted close AM error. This error, paired with the fact that the coin was minted in large quantities, has created a sense of mystery and excitement among collectors. After all, when you're dealing with millions of pennies, the chance of finding a specific error like this is incredibly slim. For most people, these pennies are little more than pocket change. But for collectors, finding a 1992 penny with the close AM error is like striking gold. If you're wondering just how rare these error coins are, the answer is that only a small percentage of the 1992 pennies were minted with the close AM variety. The exact number remains unclear, but estimates suggest that only a few hundred, at most, exist in the wild. That means that for those who have managed to find one, the coin is an incredibly rare treasure. And as you might expect, rarity is one of the most important factors when it comes to determining a coin's value. Now let's get to the most exciting part, the value of the 1992 Lincoln penny. While most pennies from 1992 are worth, well, 1 cent, the close AM error penny is a different story entirely. This rare variety has been known to sell for astounding prices at auction. A 1992 Lincoln penny with the close AM error in excellent condition can command prices upwards of $38,000, depending on factors like its grade and the demand at the time of the sale. Yes, you read that correctly, $38,000 for a coin that originally cost just 1 cent. It's hard to imagine that a simple penny, so easily overlooked in your pocket, could be worth more than the price of a new car. But that's the magic of coin collecting. A combination of rarity, history, and the thrill of discovery can turn even the most modest of coins into valuable treasures. But what makes the 1992 Lincoln penny so appealing to collectors goes beyond just the close AM error. It's the entire allure of rare and unusual coins. For collectors, it's not just about the monetary value. It's about owning a piece of history, a physical connection to the past that represents the intricacies of a moment in time. The 1992 penny with the close AM error represents an anomaly in the minting process, a piece of art created by the U.S. Mint that, by sheer accident, has become a prized possession. For those of us who find coins fascinating, the 1992 Lincoln penny serves as a reminder that even the most common objects in life can hold extraordinary value. Most people would pass by a penny without a second thought, unaware that it could be worth thousands of dollars. And while finding such a rare coin is incredibly unlikely, the world of numismatics reminds us that the pursuit of treasure, whether hidden in the streets or in our own pockets, is what makes coin collecting so exciting. As we wrap up the story of the 1992 Lincoln 1-cent penny, it's clear that this coin is much more than just a piece of currency. It's a symbol of the unpredictable world of coin collecting, where even the most unassuming items can carry hidden worth. The 1992 penny, with its close AM error, serves as a reminder that history is sometimes written in the smallest of details, and that even a penny can be a key to unlocking a small fortune. So, next time you find yourself with a handful of pennies, take a moment to inspect them closely. You might just have a rare, valuable treasure in your hand. Top 6. In 1985, a simple, everyday coin rolled off the presses at the U.S. Mint. It was just another penny, small, copper-plated, and seemingly inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. Little did anyone know, however, that this very penny would become an intriguing piece of history, sparking the curiosity of collectors and numismatists alike. The 1985 Lincoln 1-cent penny, though often overlooked in day-to-day life, has a fascinating story to tell, one that speaks to the richness of American coinage, the artistry of its design, and the surprising value that has emerged for certain rare versions of this coin. The story of the Lincoln penny begins well before 1985, tracing its origins all the way back to 1909, when it was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by the talented artist and engraver Victor David Brenner, the penny featured a portrait of Lincoln on the obverse, forever immortalizing the president in the minds of Americans. The reverse originally displayed two stalks of wheat, a design that would be in use for nearly half a century before undergoing its first major change in 1959, when the reverse design was updated to feature the Lincoln Memorial as a tribute to the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This change, designed by Frank Gasparo, cemented the penny's iconic status, and the Lincoln Memorial would remain on the back of the penny for decades to come, as decades passed. The penny evolved in subtle ways, but by 1985, its design had remained largely unchanged since 1959. The 1985 Lincoln penny still carried the same familiar image of Abraham Lincoln's bust on the obverse, along with the well-loved Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. In 1982, the U.S. Mint had shifted from the traditional copper composition to a copper-plated zinc core in an effort to reduce the cost of minting pennies. This change in metal composition, along with some minor tweaks to the production process, set the stage for the 1985 penny, a coin that, while appearing rather ordinary at first glance, would hold certain hidden qualities that would later make it valuable to collectors. When we examine the 1985 penny, it's important to consider the minting process and how it contributed to the potential for rare and valuable varieties. In 1985, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, primarily in the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most of these pennies would go into circulation, serving their everyday purpose in the economy. However, it is not the mass-produced coins that have garnered attention over the years. It's the rare minting errors and specific variations of the 1985 penny that have captured the imaginations of collectors. The concept of minting errors might seem trivial to some, but to coin collectors, these imperfections can turn an otherwise standard coin into a valuable treasure. Minting errors occur when there is an issue during the production process, whether it's a misalignment of the dies, overstrikes, or issues with the coin's design elements. In some cases, these errors can be so subtle that only experienced numismatists are able to identify them, making the hunt for such coins both thrilling and rewarding. The 1985 Lincoln penny, while a staple of everyday currency, harbors a few examples of these rare errors, and these errors have had a significant impact on its value. One of the most famous varieties of the 1985 penny is the double die error. Double die errors are among the most coveted and valuable errors in the world of numismatics. They occur when a coin is struck more than once by the die, creating a misalignment of the design elements. This results in the letters, numbers, and other details of the coin being slightly doubled or distorted. The 1985 Lincoln penny was not immune to this phenomenon, and a handful of double die errors were discovered among the mintage. The 1985 double die penny is especially noteworthy because it is relatively rare, and collectors often seek it out with fervor. When you look at a typical 1985 penny, you'll see crisp, clear details on the obverse, particularly the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." However, on a 1985 penny with a double die error, these inscriptions will appear to be slightly doubled, with two sets of lines visible in certain places. The doubling effect can be most noticeable in the letters of "Liberty" and the "E" in "Trust." These coins are highly prized because they are so elusive and difficult to find. The condition of the coin also plays a significant role in determining its value, as coins that are well preserved and in near-mint condition fetch higher prices. As with many other rare coins, the 1985 double die penny has captivated collectors, driving demand and causing the value of these rare pieces to rise steadily over the years. Depending on the grade of the coin, a 1985 double die penny can fetch prices that range from a few $100s to several thousand. Coins that are particularly well preserved, those that have been kept in pristine condition, can be sold at even higher prices, sometimes reaching into the tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, some examples of the 1985 double die penny have been known to sell for upwards of $40,000 at auction, making this coin a true treasure for those lucky enough to find one in their collection or in circulation. Beyond the double die error, other varieties of the 1985 penny have also attracted attention. These include coins with die cracks or small, unusual minting features that make them unique. Though these errors may not be as dramatic as a double die, they still add to the intrigue and desirability of the 1985 penny for collectors. Die cracks, for example, can appear as tiny fissures or lines running across the surface of the coin, sometimes creating an unusual pattern that makes the coin stand out. These minor errors may not command as high a price as the double die variety, but they still contribute to the overall allure of the 1985 penny. Collectors are drawn to these rarities not only because of their potential monetary value, but also because of the hunt for something exceptional. There's a sense of adventure in searching through rolls of pennies, hoping to discover a hidden gem that could change the course of a collection. For some, it's not just about the financial reward, but about owning a piece of numismatic history. A coin that tells a story and carries a piece of the past in its design. So, what exactly is it that makes the 1985 Lincoln penny so valuable in today's market? While most pennies minted that year are worth just 1 cent, a select few have emerged as highly valuable collector's items. The combination of the rarity of minting errors, particularly the double die variety, and the overall desirability of Lincoln pennies in general has led to the coin's skyrocketing value. Over the years, prices for the 1985 double die penny have continued to rise, with coins in mint condition regularly fetching prices in the range of $30,000 to $45,000. It's astonishing to think that a simple penny, once part of a large batch of circulating coins, could become a small fortune in the world of numismatics. This dramatic increase in value reflects the broader world of coin collecting, where rarity and historical significance converge to create treasures that far exceed their original value. For coin collectors, the thrill of the hunt is not just about finding something valuable, it's about discovering a piece of history that connects them to the past. Whether it's a rare error coin, a limited edition release, or a coin from a forgotten era, every coin tells a story, and the 1985 Lincoln penny is no exception. As we look back at the legacy of the 1985 penny, it's clear that this unassuming piece of currency has far outlived its original purpose. It's a reminder that even the most commonplace objects can hold extraordinary value. So, the next time you come across a handful of pennies, take a moment to examine each one carefully. You might just be holding a rare, valuable treasure in your hand, one that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars, like the 1985 double die Lincoln penny. And in the world of coin collecting, that's the kind of discovery that can change everything. To wrap up, the 1985 Lincoln penny is far more than a simple piece of change. It's a symbol of the fascinating world of coin collecting and the incredible value that can be hidden in plain sight. From the historical context of the Lincoln penny to the modern-day hunt for rare errors, the 1985 penny is a testament to the unpredictability and allure of the numismatic world. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting to explore the world of coins, remember this. Sometimes, the most unexpected discoveries can turn a simple penny into a small fortune. Top 7. The year 2000 was a time of significant change and anticipation. The world had entered a new millennium, and society was abuzz with the promise of technology, digital advancements, and global connectivity. Yet, amidst all this innovation and excitement, there was something far smaller but no less intriguing. The 2000 Lincoln 1-cent penny. This seemingly unremarkable coin, often dismissed as mere pocket change, would go on to captivate collectors, investors, and numismatists alike. Its journey, rooted in American history and interwoven with an unexpected twist of fate, would transform this coin into something far more valuable than its face value of just 1 cent. This is the story of the 2000 Lincoln penny and its unlikely rise to fame. To understand the significance of the 2000 penny, we must first take a step back in time, tracing the origins of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln 1-cent penny was first introduced in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the penny became the first U.S. coin to feature a portrait of a real person, rather than a symbolic figure like Liberty. This bold decision marked the beginning of what would become one of the most iconic and enduring coins in American currency. On the reverse, Brenner chose to depict 2 ears of wheat, symbolizing the nation's agricultural roots, leading to the coin's nickname, the Wheat Penny. The Lincoln penny underwent several design changes over the years, but perhaps the most notable shift came in 1959 when the reverse was redesigned to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The new reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, featured the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of national unity, and this design would remain in use for several decades. But by the time we reached the year 2000, the penny had undergone its own evolution, particularly in terms of material and production. The coin minted in 2000 would be a product of both historical significance and modern innovation. In the late 20th century, the U.S. Mint had transitioned from using solid copper to a copper-plated zinc composition in 1982, largely due to the rising cost of copper. As a result, the Lincoln pennies minted from 1982 onward were composed primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating. The 2000 penny followed this pattern, maintaining the familiar appearance of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with a slight modification in the composition that ensured the penny was lighter and cheaper to produce. At first glance, the 2000 penny might appear just like any other in the series, a simple copper-plated coin bearing the likeness of one of the most revered figures in American history. Yet, despite its ordinary look, the 2000 penny became part of a broader context in which minor details, slight errors, and variations in the minting process would eventually result in a coin that captured the attention of collectors and sparked a rush to hunt down rare, valuable specimens. It wasn't long before collectors started noticing something odd about certain 2000 pennies. Though the U.S. Mint typically maintains a high level of quality control, a few minor imperfections occasionally slip through, leading to the creation of what are known as minting errors. These errors, although seemingly small, can make a world of difference when it comes to the value of a coin. The 2000 penny, with its high mintage and seemingly unremarkable design, soon became the center of attention for numismatists who realized that there were some particularly rare versions of the coin in circulation, versions that could fetch prices far above their face value point. One of the most famous errors associated with the 2000 penny is the close AM variety, which was produced as part of the transition to a new design standard. For years, the reverse of the Lincoln penny displayed the words E pluribus unum above the Lincoln Memorial, along with United States of America and the year of minting. The letters A and M in the word America were typically spaced apart with a small gap. However, in some cases, a batch of 2000 pennies was mistakenly minted with the letters A and M too close together, creating a noticeable error that would become highly sought after by collectors. While this error may seem trivial to the untrained eye, to a coin collector, it was an exciting discovery. The close AM penny stands out because it represents a rare flaw in the minting process, one that was not replicated across the entire 2000 mintage. While the majority of 2000 pennies had the typical wide AM spacing, only a small number of them featured the close AM variety. This subtle difference in the design would go on to make the coin a true collector's item. As with many coin errors, rarity is the key to value. The fewer examples of a particular coin that exist, the more valuable it becomes in the eyes of collectors. This is especially true for the 2000 close AM penny, as only a handful of these error coins were released into circulation. Finding one of these rarities among the billions of pennies produced that year is a remarkable stroke of luck, and it's precisely this rarity that has driven up the value of the 2000 close AM penny. But what exactly makes the 2000 close AM penny so valuable? In the world of numismatics, a coin's value is determined by several factors, including rarity, demand, and condition. The 2000 close AM penny is considered rare because only a small number of these error coins were produced. While estimates vary, it's believed that only a few hundred of these close AM pennies exist today, making them a highly sought-after commodity. In addition, the demand for rare coins like this one has only increased over the years, as more and more collectors and investors recognize the potential for significant returns. The condition of the coin is also a major factor in determining its value. As with any collectible, the better the condition of the coin, the more valuable it becomes. Coins that are well preserved, free from scratches, dents, or discoloration, and graded as MS 65 or higher by professional grading services can command much higher prices. A 2000 close AM penny in excellent condition can fetch prices of $3,000 to $5,000, depending on the auction market at the time. However, some particularly well-preserved examples of this rare error coin have been known to sell for much higher amounts, sometimes as much as $30,000 or more. It's worth noting that the value of the 2000 close AM penny, like all rare coins, is subject to fluctuation based on market demand and interest. The value of rare coins tends to rise over time as more collectors seek out these treasures and as fewer examples remain in circulation. For those lucky enough to possess one of these coins, Holding on to it for a few years can prove to be a lucrative investment. In fact, many numismatists view coins like the 2000 close AM penny as a long-term asset, a tangible piece of history that can appreciate in value over time. So, how does a collector go about finding one of these elusive coins? The search for a rare coin like the 2000 close AM penny can be both thrilling and challenging. Some collectors hunt for rare coins in large volumes of pennies, meticulously inspecting each one in hopes of spotting a rare find. Others might purchase rolls of pennies from banks, hoping that one of the rare coins will surface among them. Coin dealers and auctions also offer opportunities for collectors to purchase rare coins, though prices for high-grade rare coins like the 2000 close AM penny can be steep. For those who prefer to purchase a 2000 close AM penny rather than search for one, it's important to be cautious and do thorough research. The market for rare coins is not immune to fraud, and counterfeit coins are unfortunately common. Collectors must ensure that the coins they purchase are genuine by consulting reputable dealers or obtaining professional certification from third-party grading services, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These organizations offer independent assessments of a coin's authenticity and condition, providing buyers with the confidence they need to make informed purchases. But the allure of the 2000 close AM penny goes beyond just its financial value. For collectors, these coins represent more than just money. They are tangible connections to American history. The Lincoln penny, with its enduring image of one of the nation's most revered presidents, carries with it a sense of pride and tradition. For those who collect these coins, it's about more than just financial gain. It's about preserving and cherishing a piece of the nation's past. The 2000 Lincoln penny, particularly the rare close AM variety, serves as a reminder that even the most seemingly insignificant objects can carry immense value. In the world of numismatics, a simple penny can transform into a treasure. And for the lucky few who stumble upon a 2000 close AM penny, the thrill of discovery is matched only by the reward that comes with holding a piece of American history that is worth far more than its original 1 cent valued. So, the next time you find yourself holding a penny, take a moment to inspect it closely. You never know. The coin you hold in your hand may just be worth a small fortune. And in the case of the 2000 Lincoln penny, that fortune might just be worth $30,000 or more.